In 1919, people were drinking and having fun. In 1920, they weren't.
Where'd all our alcohol go?
It's all gone, that darn 18th Amendment.
The beginning of the Great Depression and Prohibition Act, formerly known as the Volstead Act, resulted in a sharp increase in organized crime as people became more desperate for formerly illegal substances, particularly alcohol.
That'll be $15.
It's so darn expensive.
Well, this alcohol was bootleg.
Bootlegging first appeared in the 1920s as foreign alcohol was smuggled into the U.S. through boats. Boats would dock and discharge their loads in American ports, which were then taken by the mafia and sold for profit. Once the U.S. Navy began searching ships, medicinal whiskey was sold in drugstores, and speakeasies, stores that illegally sold brewed alcohol, were common up until the prohibition ended in 1933. Later, the mafia became more significant in the U.S., but the federal government refused to acknowledge its prominence.
But Mr. Hoover, what are they to do about the ongoing depression? Crime is rising, let's do something about it.
The farmers may be losing some money, but the real threat lies in South America. The government needs to focus on foreign colonies.
The farmers are already angry that they couldn't find jobs to provide for their families, but now they are even angrier because they are losing money when they are robbed by gangs as well.
But Mr. Hoover...
Those damn Okies just need to find a better work ethic. How hard could it be to find a better paying job? And keeping our money safe shouldn't be that hard either.
One of the most important mafia members was Al Capone, who arrived in New York in 1894 at age 30. Under Herbert Hoover's incompetent presidency, he rose to fame and power through being a gang leader until he was arrested in 1929 for failing to pay the sufficient income tax on his illegal alcohol business.
So, how much?
$300 worth today.
Good, that's more than enough to pay for the next shipment. Go get yourself something nice.
You're under arrest!
What?
You have gone on with this business for too long and you haven't paid a single cent. Who's your employer?
No comment.
Are you sure?
No comment.
Who's your supplier?
I can't answer that.
What are your motives?
Who knows?
If you cooperate with us, we might give you the shortest sentence.
I can't answer.
You're going to the jail!
This code of silence was common among the mafia, known as omerta. It remained an unbroken rule by all until Joe Valachi later broke the code, setting a precedent in 1963. Al Capone was eventually taken to court and tried by a jury.
The jury of this case and another have been switched due to suspicion of witness tampering through bribery. We find Al Capone guilty of 22 counts of tax evasion totaling over $200,000 and sentence him to 11 years jail with no bail. We find Al Capone and his 68 men guilty of breaking over 5,000 violations of the Volstead Act. Although one of the great crime bosses of the Great Depression era was imprisoned, crime rates continued to grow exponentially, with bank robberies becoming more and more common. We need to get America back on track. Rates of crime need to decrease immediately. I'm calling J. Edgar Hoover.
You called the right guy. I promise to end the mafia and all other gangs in America once and for all.
Ironically, J. Edgar Hoover accepted bribes from gangsters in forms of tips on horse races. He turned his head, instead focusing on the notorious bank robbers in the Midwest, but failed in catching some crucial gang members.
Men, we've received news that a group of high-crime bank robbers are holed up in Little Bohemia. We're gonna go in and arrest them.
The raid was a failure. All robbers escaped and 2 casualties occurred. Although this failure was devastating, Hoover's actions led to a decline in crime rates and greater trust in the government, especially when he operated with his special agents.
So what have been the effects of your actions?
Crime rates have fallen exponentially, and we virtually eliminated all bank robbers in the Midwest. And most importantly, people have come to view the Mafia and other gangs as they should be. Criminals, not heroes.
So what's the next step for the FBI?
Although the Mafia are still a significant threat, they're no longer at the top of our list. Instead, there's been a rise of fascists and communists. We should probably keep our eyes open and focused on them.
After 1933, crime, especially the Mafia, continued to slowly disappear, although it still existed in some parts of the U.S. Gone were the days of heroism and Robin Hood antics, and gangsters were seen as exactly that. With the era of the Mafia gone, the Red Scare era was looming in the near future.